BM. Welcome back to the Honey Blitz. Today we're doing a bit of a special episode. This is a founder series Honey Blitz. Today we are going to be speaking with the Beras that borrow, a good buddy of mine, and I'm excited to introduce Cobble from Bera Borrow. You guys have been making waves in the ecosystem. BM, Cobble.
Hello, and thanks for having me. It's been a fun last few months. A lot of late nights and early mornings and lots of calls, and ultimately happy to see the chain be live, and really look forward to continue delivering cool products. So thanks for having me.
Of course, it's great to have you on, especially as the IDO looms. And I just wanted to say, man, first week Bera Borrow had 6 million deposits, man. That's huge momentum. Congratulations. What do you think contributed to your success, and what are your guys' priorities now that you're live? The chain's real.
Yeah, it's an interesting switch, in the sense that we had a lot of work that went into our Boyko vaults, which are essentially like a structured product that allows users to deposit collateral, and then we actively manage their positions to be able to farm the stability pool without getting liquidated. So that was a whole big push, and then mainnet came, and for us, we still wanted to be able to continue to grow upon that, but POL had not been live for other products or applications. So majority of all the juicy yields and all the action was going on the BEX. So it was kind of a fun situation where we had built everything for Boyko around Kodiak and built everything for Boyko around that, and then having to go back to what we originally built and get those auto compounding vaults live ASAP. So thankfully, because the product is so modular and the protocol is so modular, we were able to make one or two tweaks in the way that the harvest functions work and get those live and shipped. And I can't attest much to the success of ourselves, other than the high yield sitting on the BEX pools, and folks just wanting to stake and not have to do the auto compounding themselves. So it's purely just, I think, us offering a service, and offering a good service, folks will hopefully deposit their TVL. So I'd say it's that, and then again, the modularity of the protocol allows us to move quick. So anytime something like this pops up, we should be one of the first to offer any form of auto compounding / looping on anything, just because of how we put in the long hard yards over the testnet in making a modular protocol.
That's beautiful, brother. And you guys are coming out with your launch from our friends and partners over at Ramen Finance with your IDO. Could you just tell us a little bit about the process for choosing Ramen? What can the Beras that borrow expect in terms of structure? Is it going to be price discovery mode? Will it be a fixed price mode? We'd love to hear a bit about that.
So I'll share some alpha, and then we can have Nora shout at me later. So firstly, it was a no-brainer to launch on Ramen. I think that's always been the plan. I think when we did our initial raise, long ago, it's now years ago, everybody was like, oh, where are you launching? The answer has always been, we'll do a IDO on Ramen. And that's just to kind of pay homage to those that have been on Bera chain for so long, and also allow the Bera community to take part in our IDO. That will also be at a bit of a discount to the public launch val. And that's, again, just to, get all the Bera homies, those that have been around for so long, allow them to get in at a bit of a discount, and thank them for the support over the kind of years that we've had together in the trenches.
Oh, that's amazing. Getting that ground floor for the core community and early Beras is always great to hear. Do you have any details maybe on the allocation, maybe that price, or any strategies on the approach of how much is going to be going to that IDO?
So it was important for us to have a decent amount of the supply within our community's hands. So it'll be a fixed price on Ramen. It'll be at a discount to the public raise. The Ramen raise is to raise from within the eco, allow folks to get in. But it was also important for us to go broader than the eco. It was a big decision for us to go, okay, cool, we want to raise outside of the eco as well. And that is kind of an attempt for us to bring in new users into Bera. So, the LO on Ramen is purely for our, supporters to be able to participate, come in at a discount, and hopefully kind of come along on this journey with us. And then the broader raise is to really hopefully create a lot of noise external to the ecosystem and be a first touch point for folks coming into Bera. So that'll be taking in funds from many other chains, and ultimately we'll be bridging that over to Bera, and the token will be launched on Bera. But that was kind of like a decisions that we made there. The ramen launch is, for all our friends and family. And then we'll be doing like a broader public launch, which is hopefully trying to bring over more users into Bera that'll stick around and hopefully participate in many other kind of protocols after ours.
Beautiful. And, NFTs are a big part of the Bera culture. The big fat Beras, I have quite a few of them, were a success on Bera Chain. And you just recently announced another NFT collection. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about that.
I could. That's been both, to be honest. The NFTs have been both. Like, I get DM'd about the NFT 70,000. Like, that is like the one thing that I've not been as involved in, which is kind of funny because I have a background with a lot of NFTs. But Big Fat Bears were like a kind of core part for us, not only, activating our community, but then also building that community. So it was building the community, then activating community, and then rewarding the community. We like the original art. I think they were a Freeman. This will be an airdrop, so there's kind of no need for us to raise. But our designer is really talented, and he, drew these kind of designs for the strong bearers, and we've had them in the back pocket for ages, and we wanted to put them live, kind of just give them as a token of our appreciation to those that have been along with us. So yeah, we look forward to kind of airdropping those to the kind of big fat bears, and it's also a kind of token of showcasing our growth as a protocol. I think when we started, you can see the journey we've been on as a protocol. There's been many changes, many iterations, hopefully all for the better. And this kind of strong bearer is kind of a testament to how we went from being a big fat bearer to a strong bearer. And hopefully we'll continue to get fitter.
The bearers hit the gym. The protocol's about to be live. They're rebasing, and it comes out, I believe, 2 days after the launch. This is going to come out on Friday, so I think it'll be public on Ramen's launchpad. So there's no leaks of alpha right now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah.
So I guess I just want to dive into, a little bit of Nect and the role in the ecosystem. Prince made a great post this morning, and he emphasized that most stablecoins fail because of their lack of moneyness. Maybe you could just touch on how Nect is going to be changing that at a higher level, and any strategies or executions that's going to make it indispensable within the ecosystem as it continues to grow.
Yeah, this has been like our initial fascination by building a CDP on Bera was around the fact that incentivizing liquidity is really tough. I think initially the initial model and idea that we had kind of misunderstood proof of liquidity, but it's kind of always been the original reason for us being there. And you have this problem of having to bootstrap liquidity, and proof of liquidity actually helps solve for that. Now, achieving moneyness is something that requires a few things. For someone to use a stablecoin, it's not purely just cool, they like us, we can build up the brand affinity. That's one part. There's obviously trust in the security of the stablecoin and the backing of the stablecoin, which kind of we have covered. But then there's also just like the pure inconvenience of shifting from something that you already know to something you don't. And therefore, generally, you need to incentivize folks to do so, kind of pay them to jump over and start using the stablecoin. And for us, the more moneyness we achieve with the stablecoin, it actually kind of helps the protocol grow in its ability to capture value through leverage and looping. So there's a kind of useful way to think about it in a sense. So we have two broad avatars that kind of we serve an offering to a Bera borrower. You have folks that want to leverage up or maintain exposure to their collateral assets, the yield that those collateral assets offer, or kind of the price exposure of those collateral assets. And in turn for that, they pay interest rates, and they obviously risk liquidation. So that's kind of like the one user. And then for us to be able to facilitate this leverage and facilitate kind of folks being long on their collateral assets, we have Nect. And the Nect holders are folks who are looking for stablecoin returns. So they are not willing to or want to be exposed to price exposure. But in return for that, the yield that is forfeited/paid by the kind of folks that want to lever up on their collateral assets is routed through to the Nect users. So that is kind of how our system works. In a traditional money market, you have to obviously pay lenders with your interest rates. But for us as a CDP, our interest rate sole purpose is really to increase the moneyness of the stablecoin. So that's kind of where that incentive comes through, and the deal sweetener that kind of makes you want to use Nect. So how we do that is all our interest rates are routed through to our S-Pollen gauge, and that's really to allow us to drive value back to folks in one kind of rewards vault without having to create a rewards vault for every single Nect use case. So what we do is we drive all the interest rate to the S-Pollen gauge, the rewards vault, and then we can just, as a protocol, distribute pollen to anyone who uses Nect that in a fashion that increases in moneyness. So if you're a trading platform, any form of like AMM, a gambling app, kind of anything that uses Nect where folks are accumulating Nect, they're not selling it. It could be a savings wallet, that folks are just holding Nect. We're able to direct Pollen through to those folks as an incentive for them to, hold and accumulate Nect. And all of this kind of Pollen's value is underpinned by not only the value that the protocol accrues through interest rates, but also value kind of supercharged by us pushing it through a rewards vault and kind of capturing from some of that upside there. So that's kind of the two sides. That's the goal for growing Nect. Ultimately, it's difficult to bootstrap liquidity when you're building a new protocol. And for us, we want Nect to be a facility for new builders to be able to, start off and have immediate yields, delegated towards their platform just for using Nect. And, hopefully we've seen a good take up so far, and hopefully folks continue to keep doing so.
No, I think that's a great explainer for Nect and why people might want to use it. And speaking of Pollen, was on the Bera website. I actually, made LPs day one, and I'm just watching that auto compound go on my honey and wrapped Bera. I did notice that it was a 3x multiplier on Pollen. Tell us a little bit about the token, the structure alignment a bit more, what you're excited about with Pollen and the governance.
Yeah, Pollen. There's a couple of angles I'll hit it from. I guess there's governance, and then there's also this kind of balance that we have to play between user A and user B. Kind of user A being long on assets, user B being somebody who wants stablecoin rewards, and provides a facility for the user A to be long on assets. So Pollen is the nexus kind of that relationship. So Pollen is the way that we accrue and distribute value to folks, the user B, the guy who's using Nect, without having to create like multiple rewards vaults. So Pollen is kind of that intersection between the two. It serves as the lifeblood of kind of the Bera protocol, and allows us to be quick with distributing incentives to folks who use Nect. So that's kind of like one edge, and it's kind of like facilitating this balancing act between incentivizing liquidity and taking on TVL. Then we have the governance aspect, which is also something which we've slowly started seeing take shape. We have many collateral assets. Currently, the initial batch was decided on by kind of the core contributors. Continuously we'll be adding a couple more. But slowly over time, those who accrue Pollen will have the ability to direct incentives towards specific deposits, essentially. So saying, hey, hang on, we're bullish on asset A. We actually want you to direct more Pollen incentives towards that asset's deposit rewards vault rather than another. So I think governance will come into play and take shape there when it comes to adding additional collateral assets, and slowly but surely kind of decentralizing the decision-making when it comes to adding collateral assets, because I don't think that's something the core contributors want to have on them for as long as we hope for the protocol to be around, So slowly but surely kind of handing that over to governance and kind of having governance take shape over the distribution of incentives. So that's the one side. The second side is we also accrue a lot of IBGT / eventually Infred's governance token / the governance side of which used to be IRED, which is now not IRED anymore. And this is accrued by the protocol. And Pollen holders will have control over the VE Pollen holders will have control over kind of how we direct that to where we direct those incentives. And so that kind of like is another value accrue from a governance perspective to the Pollen holders. So that's the high level there.
That was a great answer, Gobble. Thank you. So the VE Pollen is almost like you're leveraged on the infrared team through Bera.
The VE Pollen is like, it was a cool way. So essentially we have like our S Pollen gauge, and the VE Pollen is a way for you to say, hey, I'm max long on participating in governance in Bera. Not only do I want to continuously lock my Pollen as a commitment to this governance and kind of benefit from the incentives of locking that, but I also want to be an active participant in the governance from not only taking control of in decision making over how we use our kind of like infrared governance token accrual, but also when we launch some additional BGT stuff down the line, some control over the BGT stuff. So it's just a way for us to, I think, when launching a protocol, I think it's important initially that the core team has strong direction over where they want to go, but slowly over time for things to maintain, the core users need to have a voice. And I think VE Pollen is just a reflection of like wanting to max bid your voice and have your voice be heard at a maximum capacity.
You're right. The team needs to be aligned, and especially governance is a major part in any founding DeFi team and for users as well. And speaking on the team, the culture, the execution, you guys are moving fast. You're embracing breaking things, sort of the culture on Berachain. Maybe you could give us a little bit of behind the scenes of what the team is operating like. I know you guys had an offsite recently. If you could just tell us some like lessons learned or the recharge you guys got from that.
Oh yeah, we have a team that I absolutely love. They were handpicked by Prince and I over the last few years, ranging from our designer, who's extremely talented, through to every single one of our developers, as well as Bo on the kind of community front. Utmost love, and every single one of them forms a valuable part within the team, and we wouldn't be able to be where we are without them. There's a beautiful kind of balance between Prince and I. So Prince is very structured, very, very driven, very kind of hard. And then I'm a little bit more chaotic within kind of how I operate. So that forms a nice balance where we have like the creativity on the product side from my side, and then the very much structure that kind of Prince helps capture and funnel. So that's kind of one thing that I've loved about the relationship and working with Prince over the last kind of while. The offsite was extremely important. We try and do one once per quarter. With Boyko and everything, we kind of haven't done one for the last 5 months. We have a young team, we've got loads of energy, but working 25/8 over the last 5 months, that put some strain on the guys. And the offside was just honestly us sitting inside a shared house together, working the whole time, but working together, bouncing ideas off each other, and just kind of blowing a breath of fresh air and alignment from both Prince and I to the team to kind of showcase where we wanted to go, hear kind of where the team thought they wanted to go, and just align direction and really kind of reinvigorate the guys to keep pushing and keep shipping at the rate that we have. We pride ourselves in never having won. We think that the moment you believe you've won, you've lost. So there's always something more that we can do. There's always something more that we can improve on. That was really nice, just a little reset for everyone to take a bit of fresh air so we can continue to improve.
Burnout can happen, but especially being aligned with your team, making sure that we're all on the same page and getting a quick recharge, especially once, POL starts. And it really is just the beginning with Berachain. So that's awesome to hear. Absolutely.
Yeah. So on burnout, burnout's an interesting one because it's like, I believe that you only burn out when you don't see light at the end of the tunnel. It's so, it's so easy to lose track and of where you're going. And I think that's why, having folks around you can help either look up or identify maybe you're going in the wrong direction in the tunnel, and just keep facing the light. Because if you have a target that you're going towards, it's really tough to burn out. So again, that's kind of just where we try and, as a team, keep each other accountable and keep each other sharp and make sure we're facing, the light. And that way you can continue to slog forever.
No, that's a great point, right? It's like if you all are aligned, you see the end goal, you can easily push away any distractions or noise or sentiment that might pop up, especially if you guys are all in tandem with each other. No, that makes a lot of sense. I won't keep you too long, couple, and I really appreciate the time here. You said forget the past 6 weeks. You said you look at the next 6 months and beyond. Bera launched about a week or so from today. And I want to know, where do you see Bera 1 year from now? And what does success look like to you?
I think it's within our ethos to not ever have succeeded. There's always going to be a constant form of improvement. I would be happy with the neck being kind of broadly used within eco. There's a few products that we kind of be bringing out. So broadly, as a CDP, we have an edge in being able to unlock more illiquid assets to be used within DeFi. So essentially, deposit asset, which may not have a lot of liquidity, but there's loads of value in it. I think are kind of Bitcoin LSTs. And then being able to mint NECT against that. And NECT is extremely composable, so NECT can be used kind of all over. So helping unlock kind of markets that kind of weren't tapped into. That's something we, hopefully we would have made some progress on. We've already kind of done a kind of phase one of that, but that's something we're going to look to optimize and improve for. So that's kind of one thing that I would hope to have seen. Our liquid stability pool is like a core component of the protocol. If there's one thing that I think we've built that's kind of cool is the liquid stability pool and its kind of modularity with the hooks in it. So there will be a lot of improvements on the liquid stability pool and extensions on the liquid stability pool to optimize for capital efficiency, to optimize for liquidations, not only from our protocol, but other money markets on Berachain. So yeah, look forward to kind of seeing the growth on that front. And then I think I look forward to seeing the community take shape. I think, once you have a token live, there's a lot of emotion that comes to play. Prices go up, prices go down, and that ultimately forms a strong community. So that's going to be something that's interesting to see play out. Yeah, I look forward to being a part of kind of all three.
Why should people use Bera Borrow for borrowing, leveraging, and DeFi on Berachain. What's your 30-second pitch?
The edge we have versus another mono market is purely based on size and the illiquidity of certain assets. So if you have, an LP token, it's kind of difficult to lend against those on other money markets. So looking to free up liquidity on things that are difficult to free up on other places. The fact that if you deposit, you can always withdraw. Your capital is never lent out to anybody else. So it's a lot of flexibility around if you want to move quick. You can deposit your Bera. It's never lent out anyway, so you'll be able to withdraw 100% of your Bera as long as you repay the debt. So I think it's flexibility around that side. And then the other side is because of this, we have our interest rates are not needed to pay lenders. They are used purely to facilitate net liquidity. So our interest rates should be far cheaper than other money markets, facilitating for just cheap leverage and looping. So those are kind of high key points.
Boom,
I
boom.
could go on for hours.
No, we've gone on for a good bit. The true last question, because I'm going to split this into a honey blitz and then probably like a maybe the full conversation, because I think there's some great bits in it. Ooga or Booga? Oh, you finished it.
Okay. Lol. Obviously, I've not been listening to enough of these. Ooga or Booga? Booga. I like booging. Why not? I don't get any time to boogie, but Booga.
Sick. Well, Cobble, thank you so much for coming on the Founder Honey Blitz. It was great to catch up and excited to see the future of Bera Borrow, how next spreads around within the ecosystem. Ramen IDO launches on the 25th of March. Anything you want to say to the people who hear this?
Yeah, thanks for the support along the way, guys. I think it's a really exciting next chapter. We, look forward to relentless shipping, and we will hopefully continue to deliver cool new shit. That's what we're out here to do. So thanks for the support, and thanks for listening, and thanks for coming along on the journey with us.
Ooga freaking Booga.
Ooga Booga. Cheers.